Hey, great to see everybody. Obviously, super excited to be in the SEC tournament. The Hoover community does such an amazing job. Just really embraces the event. SEC office, everybody involved, just a really first class event. And excited to be there. I know it's certainly not the ultimate goal for our program, but our league is as tough as it's ever been. The bottom half of the league is as good as it's ever been. And, really glad to be there. And hopefully we can go over there, give the Bama fans in the greater Birmingham area an easy opportunity to see us. And, obviously we've got a lot to play for. We don't win tomorrow. Very high chance that our season is over, and really want to extend this season with this group. So our kids are excited, and, I would expect that we'll play with a lot of energy and play our best baseball tomorrow morning. Facing a really good Georgia team that won 35 games, got a really high RPI. We played 3 tight games with them, a month or so ago here at our ballpark. So it'll be a real challenge, and we're going to have to play really well to beat them.
All right, Joey, go ahead. Remember, Drew's in here too, so please direct who you want to ask the question to.
All right. Thanks, Alex. Now, my first question is for Bo. You kind of touched on it there for a second. You guys have already faced Georgia this year, but, what are your observations about the Bulldogs, heading into tomorrow's game?
They're a very good team. They're older. It's a really experienced lineup, and I think that's a theme that you see with a lot of the teams that finish in the top part of our league. I mean, they just have a lot of kids that have been in the SEC for multiple years that have, 1,000 college at-bats under their belt, or, at least 500. So it's a very balanced lineup, a nice mix of left and right, a very experienced group of hitters. They're facing a lefty, Luke Wagner, that threw well against us in a short relief stint. It's got a good breaking ball. So it's a good group. What I really took away from them when we played them is like they really know how to play baseball. Like, they don't make a lot of mistakes. They make you beat them. Like, if you're going to beat Georgia, you have to throw strikes. You got to defend the field. You're going to have to put the ball in play and string some hits together. They're not going to walk you. They're not going to hit you. They're going to, pick the ball up and play catch accurately. So we're going to have to go take the game. They're not going to give it to us.
Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, right before you left on Saturday afternoon, you said, please, not the 9:30 game. You got the 9:30 game. What do you think the keys are to getting up early like that and be able to play effective baseball that early in the morning?
Yeah, let me retract that statement, because we would play at 3 a.m., if that's what it took. We were excited to extend our season and to have the opportunity to play. But, it'll be an early morning, and I thought about getting our kids up, at 6 or 7 a.m. this morning, and, our time slots a little bit later. And I just thought it was more important to get over to the Hoover Met and hit BP in that ballpark this afternoon than it was to get them up early and practice here in Tuscaloosa. So, we'll probably get them up about 6 a.m. tomorrow. And, I think that even though that's a little bit out of routine, like, our kids are fired up for this. And I'm not worried about us coming out sleepwalking or these kids are young, man. Like, they don't need the sleep that we old folks do. So I'm not too worried about, being a little bit out of routine. They've actually handled that this year whenever we've had issues with the weather, whether it's been practice or game or whatnot. They've done a pretty good job of being out of routine. So I'm not too concerned about the early start tomorrow.
Max, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, I know you've taken this season one game at a time, but how do you feel your NCAA tournament chances are after this weekend against Arkansas?
Well, I don't look at that stuff too in depth. I know, the track record of being, 12 and 17 in the league and getting to the tournament, the numbers aren't great. So I think it's pretty obvious that we got to play deep into the week. So I don't know if that means winning 2 or winning 3 or having to win the tournament. I think I've said that, for 3 weeks, man, I feel like every day's kind of been do or die or most important game of the year. So I can't imagine that our chances are real strong if we lose on Tuesday. So, we're going with the mindset of like that our season's over if we don't win on Tuesday, whether that's accurate or not. So, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into it. It's not just how we do, but how, some of the other conference tournaments and the other bubble teams, how they perform, and all that's out of your control. So feel pretty confident saying that we need to have a good week and a long week if we want to play after this SEC tournament.
Nick, go ahead.
Yeah, question for both guys. I mean, looking back at this weekend, what do you try to capture from that? Just because the season ended so well for you guys going into the postseason.
You know, this group has done a great job of, like, they just go play, and the results, not the quality of the way that they play, or maybe the result hasn't been consistent, but the way that it feels in the dugout, like, these kids really like each other. And I know this sounds like, you know, trite, but like these kids really like to play. They really enjoy playing the game of baseball and enjoy each other. So even though there's been spells that we haven't played well, we haven't gotten the big hit, or we've made mistakes, or the feel in the dugout and in the pregame, it has been good. The kids have been really consistent with that. So, you know, I'm certainly hopeful. Like, you know, the elephant in the room for us is, you know, we haven't been a great offensive team in league play. We haven't gotten a lot of the big hits that we needed, as far as hitting the 3-run homer, hitting the double with the bases loaded. And we did that this weekend, man. We strung hits together, and we got a lot of big hits, and Arkansas helped us a little bit on Saturday, and we took advantage of it. So, you know, it's a weird dynamic of how hitting can be contagious. And I don't know if you can scientifically prove that, but it just, being in the league for 19 years, it certainly feels that way. So I kind of felt like after we won on Friday, I kind of felt like there was a big monkey off our back, you know, because it had been a rough 3 or 4 weeks for us. And I thought our kids played a little extra loose and free on Saturday, and we got down, you know, 2 in the first inning. And then, you know, our kids, you know, battled back and did a good job of playing. So, yeah, very hopeful that, you know, the momentum that we created this weekend. And look, Arkansas was really good. They didn't look good on Saturday, but I'm telling you, that's a legitimate top 10 team that's going to be a really tough out in the NCAA tournament. So I don't want to take away from our kids. You know, it was a really good weekend for us to beat a really good team. So hopefully we can take that momentum into Hoover and take that confidence with the bats.
Drew, go ahead and answer his question also.
I might need to get you to repeat it.
Yeah, no, all good. Basically, just how do you plan to take what you guys did this weekend and transfer to this week in the postseason?
I think we just showed the kind of team that we known was in there the whole time, you know. I mean, we just kind of had a rough spell of it these past few series, and being able to see it, you know, transpire on the field was nice. But, you know, we've known it's in there, and it's just coming out and playing every day like you know you're the best, and that's what we're going to have to do to make a run in Hoover.
Joey, go ahead.
Hey, my next question is for Drew. Obviously, you know, you're one of the more experienced team players on the team as a senior. So I was just curious, have you had to give any advice to the younger guys on how to approach the tournament and, you know, like expectations, like what to expect heading into an environment like Hoover?
Well, I think we've already played in front of some pretty big crowds this year. I mean, it really doesn't change the venue. I mean, this is the most fun baseball of the whole year. I love playing at Hoover, and you know, it's just the weather, the people, the atmosphere, everything about it's awesome. And if you can't get up to play in front of them, then, you know, you're playing the wrong sport. But, you know, it's just managing your emotions, going out there and playing just like any other day, you know, and that's about it. Just go play your best baseball and let it take care of itself.
Austin, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, postseason tournaments like this in any sport, I think, are the most challenging thing, because you have to get up every day for, you know, maybe a week, a whole weekend, and win every single game. What do you think are the keys to kind of making a run in a tournament like this, especially against, you know, other SEC baseball programs like these?
Yeah, every team that's in this tournament is really good. Every game that you play is going to be tough. And I think any team that wins the tournament or gets really deep in it after playing on Tuesday, you need somebody to do something that they haven't done to this point. I don't know who it is on our team, but we're going to need a pitcher. And I don't know which one, but somebody's going to have an extended outing that maybe they haven't had in league play to this point. That's typically what it takes. So, yeah, and you're just going to have to be really consistent. Like you get to this point in the season, everybody's good. Everybody's playing pretty clean. The quality of the game is better. So you got to go out and take games. The other team's not going to help you, not going to give it to you. So we're going to have a couple pitchers that maybe haven't thrown a lot. They're going to have to throw more or have some extended outings. And, you know, we have some guys that are capable of doing that. I think a guy like Luke Holman is a freshman that we're really excited about. That's been much better the last 3 or 4 times out. That, you know, Luke may be a guy that we need to get 65 pitches out of one time instead of just a 4 or 5 outs. And, you know, Ben Hess is a guy that hasn't pitched a lot in league play, but has some midweek starts that we really believe in. And, you know, there's certainly other guys that are going to have to pitch multiple times. So, you know, that's the nature of a conference baseball tournament.
Max, go ahead.
This one's for Coach. I know you kind of touched on it already a little bit today, but what do you think you guys have to do, or what do you think you guys have to prove this week in Hoover in order to extend your season?
Well, we just got to get some more wins against good teams. I mean, at this point, it kind of becomes a math equation of we need more wins against good teams. And luckily, from an RPI standpoint, all that, everybody that's in the SEC tournament has a really good RPI. So we need to win 2 or 3 games minimum to extend our season. I think that's you know, pretty black and white. And we just got to go out and win, man. I mean, it sounds simple, but we got to go out and win some games.
Joey, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. You know, Garrett McMillan was announced as the probable starter on the mound tomorrow for you guys. Given how well he's done this season, if you could just talk to me about your confidence level in him heading into tomorrow.
Garrett's had a great season. You know, there's a lot of pressure of being a Friday night starter. And, you know, the thing is, you can't go to the bullpen in the second inning on Friday. You know, maybe there's 2 or 3 teams in the country that can do that and still have a successful weekend. We're not quite there yet. And that's all these young pitchers. They like the status. I'm the Friday night guy. I'm the weekend starter. Well, hey, buddy, you're throwing 90 pitches, whether it goes good or bad, you know. And Garrett had a couple of starts where, you know, he had a rough first inning and he showed his maturity of how he was able to settle in and put up some zeros behind that first, you know, and get us to the middle of the game still within striking distance. So, look, I love our kids, and all this group has a lot of strong intangibles. I would say that GMAC is, from a compete level of competitiveness, is probably our best competitor, pitcher or position player. Man, that guy's an absolute bulldog and a winner. And you know, I asked him. I said, "Hey, do you want the ball on Tuesday?" And he asked me, "Do you want to win?" You know, so I mean, I think if we didn't start Garrett, I'd have about 35 people in the dugout looking at me like, "Coach, what are you doing?" You know, he's kind of our guy. So, you know, probably just on a little bit shorter rest, but, you know, he's a big physical kid. You know, he may not go as deep as he typically would just because it's a day or 2 shorter rest, but, you know, he'll get us off to a good start. And then, you know, certainly would expect that you see guys like Brock Guffey and Dylan Ray and whoever behind him.
All right, guys, you got anything else?